So you've turned 50 and maybe you've been 50 for a minute and you're just trying to figure out this season of your life and how you can reinvent yourself. If that's something that you're interested in, stay tuned. It's an amazing day. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Andrea, and on this channel, we talk about all things related to mature living for the woman over 50. Today, I want to talk about 5 ways to reinvent yourself after 50. Maturing after the age of 50 for women in this season is just a very different time. You know, our children may be older, we may be empty nesters, you may be a divorcee, you may be widowed, or you may be married. And there's just a lot of changes happening in our life physically, emotionally, spiritually. You may have aging parents, but I want you to know that it's never too late to reinvent yourself. And so today I want to give you 5 tips on just how to do that. So the first thing is, listen, it's never too late to explore new career paths. You know, maybe there's something that you've been wanting to do when your children were younger, you just didn't have the time, or maybe you didn't have the finances. But this is a great opportunity to take all of your wisdom, all your experience, to either go for a different position, go for an elevated level um, or job title in your, respective profession. It also may be time for you to write that book you've been thinking about, or starting that business, or taking something that you love to do and start a business with that. Explore new career paths. This is going to be something that's going to give you a renewed energy in this season of your life. And I think that we underestimate it. We may look around today and, see where there's a lot of younger women doing a lot of exciting and challenging things. Well, we don't have to be counted out. We can definitely rise in our career and profession. We definitely have the ability, the tools, the wisdom to start a new business. So I want you to think about that. You can explore a new career path to reinvent yourself. The next thing is, it is so important to focus on personal growth and development. And I've said this before, as we mature, there's a lot of things that we know, that we experience, but there's also a lot of things that we can do better, where we can heal, where we can grow, where we can spend more time and invest in ourselves from a self-love perspective and a self-care perspective. So really, part of reinvention is doing something different, sort of arising as a new individual in a different area of our life, right? So if that is you, and you've been neglecting yourself from a love perspective or a caring perspective, this is definitely a season where you can experience growth through self love, self care, and even, just expanding your mind, learning new things is a great opportunity to reinvent yourself. Another way that you can reinvent yourself after the age of 50 is to explore your creativity. Now, as women, we're naturally creative. Now, you may not see yourself as a creative. You may be creative in a different way than I am, right? But we have so much creativity. God has given us the spirit, to see things differently, to beautify areas, to be a nurturer. And a lot of times, if we're not, we just really haven't had the season or the time or the space to be creative, right? To allow ourselves to go deeper and see what's really in us. And I'm going to give you an example today. When I was married, I've been divorced for 13 years at this taping. But when I was married, I remember, my ex-husband was definitely a businessman. He had a 9 to 5. He had other entrepreneurial things that he was doing. So he was very, very busy. I was at home homeschooling the kids. And a lot of times, I was whining and complaining about, I wanted some time with him, right? So I used to take my kids to the library all the time. And I came upon a book, like a sewing book, right? And I said, I'm going to teach myself how to sew. Mind you, growing up, I had never been taught to sew. I never took one home economics class, none of that. Okay, so let me give you a time frame of how long ago this was. My youngest daughter, Gabby, is at this taping almost 20 years old. Okay, so she may have been 1 or 2 years old. So I got a sewing book from the library, started reading through it. The internet was pretty new to me back. These are AOL days, right? And I would get online and I'd look up some videos. And before you knew it, I was buying patterns, making skirts, making quilts, sewing quilts. And I end up learning and taught myself how to make tote bags and handbags and read patterns and create my own patterns so much that I had started a small business where I was going to craft shows and selling and promoting my tote bags and unique handbags. So a lot of times, listen, all my life prior to that, I just either wasn't interested. I did not know anything about fabrics or sewing or anything. But come to find out that opened a whole new world of talent that I didn't even know I possessed. And so I said all that to say that in this season, if you don't feel that you're a creative individual, it may be because you haven't given yourself the opportunity to even try some different things or to express your creativity, right? So you can definitely reinvent yourself in this season by expressing or embracing your creativity. And I just want to add, creativity comes in all forms: painting, writing, journaling, photography, music. Maybe there's an instrument you've always wanted to learn how to play. And the beautiful thing today with social media, with online courses, with all these things, even YouTube University, right? Right here on YouTube. You can teach yourself so many things. So I want you to think about that. If you're feeling stuck, stagnant, and you want to reinvent yourself, this is definitely the space, if you will. Tap into something new. Tap into and embrace your creativity. Now, the fourth way for you to reinvent yourself is to stay active. Stay healthy, right? Exercise, move your body, get involved in some activity that's going to keep you moving, right? It's going to help keep you healthy. We want to live long, right? I say to my kids, hey, I'm going to be around for a while. I've got a lot to do. And we also understand the reality is that our body is changing. And so the things that worked for us before may not work for us now. And I can attest to that. Matter of fact, I just purchased a scale this week because I've never needed to own a scale, right? But I do have different goals for this season of my life. I really want to monitor my weight and make sure that I'm not, monitor my fluctuations and just be really, really mindful because my body is changing. Things aren't doing what they used to do. Okay. And so we definitely can stay in a state of reinvention by, exploring nutrition, exploring our bodies, exploring different exercises, or even sort of sporting. A couple years ago, maybe almost 3 years ago, I joined a double Dutch club, right? How much fun I had with that double Dutch club. Now, I haven't been able to attend because I work every Thursday now, and that's where the day they have their weekly jumps, right? Where we used to have them on the weekends. So hopefully something will change. Or if I have a day off that's on a Thursday, I can jump with them again. But there's so many opportunities and different things to get involved in. And it's so much fun, right? So we can look at this season as a season of reinvention. And I want that for you. And I hope that you want that too. This is not the end all be all, regardless of what people think, say. Honey, this is a season, baby, that we can elevate and reinvent ourselves, and not just once, but we can continue to do it over and over and over again. And lastly, but not least, is the importance of staying connected. I've spoken staying connected. I spoke about this before. Relationships are so important. And it is important for us to continue to build relationships with our family and friends. Find new friends, right? Make sure you're around positive environments and around people who do what you want to do. If you're in a constant state of growing and reinventing yourself in this season, make sure that you have a circle that's the same, right? So they can encourage you, you can encourage one another, you understand the season of life that we're in, empty nesters, aging parents, all the things, right? And you can stay vibrant, you can stay full of energy. The other thing is, listen, devote some of your time to mentorship. You have experience in life, to mothers, to whatever your career path is, maybe even spiritually. We've seen and experienced a lot of things by this season of our life. Now we're still learning and we're still growing, but we have so much to give. And so if you're still unclear on how to reinvent yourself, put yourself in a space of mentorship. Mentor young women, mentor mothers at your church, spiritually, right? And it doesn't even have to necessarily be something formal. You can just have the wherewithal or the intention to speak positively in other women's lives, right? We need one another. And there's a favorite scripture that I told my kids growing up. I think it's Proverbs 17:17. One of the versions say a friend must show himself friendly. So if you want new experiences, if you want to maintain healthy friendships, you also have to be a good friend. You have to carve out time to spend time with others. You have to carve out time, you have to make time to get around other women. And listen, this is from an introvert, right? But I recognize that it's important to have friendships, to have connectivity. It's a huge part of our life. Community is very, very important, especially in this season of our life. And so we do that by maintaining and building relationships. Okay, and lastly, for real, right? This is a bonus, I guess, is to continue learning. Learn something new. I know we talked about growth, right? Before, and that's more like personal growth within our character, purpose filled, growing in that way. But also, it's never too late to learn something new, right? So be intentional, even at this season, challenge yourself to learn something. Get on YouTube, right? Think about something even in your home. Like a couple months ago, I bought some plants. Okay. And maybe I'll insert some pictures here. But I had one or two plants, and then I went out and bought a couple of bigger plants. And so I'm working on it, right? I'm working on keeping these plants, I'm looking at them now, keeping these plants alive and healthy and, giving them some sunshine and all that, but just learn something new. I'm going to learn about these particular plants, what their needs are, and seriously, get a little more. I'm going to get a little more involved in learning about plants because I love greenery. I love plants. I just haven't taken the time to be intentional about growing them. My grandmother had the best green thumb ever. Any plant that you gave her or flower, she can just make it thrive, right? And so I would love to do that. And I just think it helps beautify my home as well. And there's so many other aspects of having a lot of greenery around you. And that's a whole nother story for another day. But invest in learning something new, right? And I will tell you that if we think about our journey of life, even up to this point, when we're in pursuit of something or learning something new, whether it's with our children or activities or on the job or, career or business, there is a spark in our lives. There's a greater sense of joy, a greater sense of happiness, even though it may be challenging, right? So we want to keep those things before us, learn something new so that we can continue to thrive as we reinvent ourselves over and over again in this season after 50. So hopefully something that I've said to you on today is a bit of encouragement. I am 55 at the taping of this video, and over the past 10 years, I have reinvented myself several times. I have actually changed my whole entire life in the past 13 years after my divorce. And so I have such a fervor and passion for seeing women grow, seeing women empower themselves in the various seasons of our lives because, we're God's daughters, right? And he's given us so much. We have so many gifts, so many talents that I think that oftentimes we don't even tap in to what we really have. And I want that for you. And I hope that you want that for yourself. And I know that even though we're in a different season of our life, but this is a season that we can still continue to flourish. We continue to grow. We continue to um, be better and do better. So listen, make sure that you like this video, that you subscribe, and that you hit the notification button. And you know what? Also share it out. Share it out if you have a friend that's over 50 or close to 50 or getting ready to hit 50, right? Even if they're 60, share this video out. We need to encourage one another and empower each other in this journey of life. So listen, have a wonderful and blessed day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.